Coming up on the Best of John Miller, we get hooked up with one heck of a fish story.
6.5 million dead fish in jars.
You could catch 350 fish a day for 50 years and still not have a collection like this one. Also, a pickup with get up and go. We find a Treasure Valley driver hoping to set a land speed record in a truck. Plus, maybe it's in the genes. John shows us a toddler whose favorite toy is Dad's treadmill. And meet Mabel Burton. You could say she's spending her golden years doing laundry. That's all coming up next.
Discover the lighter side of Northwest living as Idaho's News Channel 7 presents the Best of John Miller.
Hello again, everybody. I'm David Augusto. Welcome to another edition of the Best of John Miller. First up today, having seafood for dinner? Hopefully you didn't get it from Catherine Pearson. This University of Washington fish expert serves John Miller some very unfreshest fish ever found.
What is this place called?
This is the University of Washington Fish Collection.
It is like a library of fish.
It is exactly a library of fish.
And how many of them are currently alive?
None. 6.5 million dead fish in jars.
Sweet. If that ain't a feature story, I don't know what is.
And Catherine Pearson would be the main character.
Good thing you guys aren't in restaurant supply here.
I got my master's degree working on sea anemones.
Okay.
But nobody pays you to work on sea anemones.
They can't pay her enough to work in here.
Holy cow, look at that thing.
Ah, yes. Anatopterus pharaoh.
It's like a garden hose with teeth.
Ever seen a live ratfish? You won't here, but you will see the Pacific spiny lumpsucker.
They're cute.
Catherine's personal favorite among 40,000 jars of nasty little prehistoric predators.
They're very cool.
Brought here from the world's deepest waters.
The collection itself has actually been building since 1919.
For the purpose of recording thousands of species of fish. So, if you ever need to know about the mating habits of, say, a three-spined stickleback caught in 1929,
This is older than my dad.
Catherine can hook you up.
Now this fish has seen better days.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I believe these came from the late 70s.
Catherine's especially proud of the anglerfish.
So this is the female, and this is the male. So
Jeez.
he actually bites onto her and fuses with her.
He's a leech.
He is.
Actually, I've had many friends who actually do the same thing.
That is a lamprey.
It looks like a sausage.
Forever floating in ethanol, which is why the room is fireproof, explosion-proof, and maybe most important,
Earthquake-proof?
That, I would say, is good planning.
Yes.
So anytime somebody finds something weird, come to you.
Yeah.
We'll stick it in a jar, let it age.
The oldest dead fish in the collection was caught in the mid-1800s, though Catherine was having trouble finding it. Not something you want to lose track of. Hope she finds it soon. Well, it felt like an earthquake rumbling down the connector one day in 2000, nearly rattling us right out of our seats here at Channel 7. So we sent John to find the cause of the commotion, which made for this smashing story.
I'll bet you this bottle of water, that Linden Dursteller, can rattle you right out of your mind.
All part of that crazy construction going on around Boise, huh?
Yeah, that it is.
So what's that thing weigh?
It weighs 6 tons, 12,000 pounds.
12,000 pounds. That's some heavy metal. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Heavy metal.
When Linden and his giant road smasher rolled by Channel 7, they almost rumbled our Skycam right off the roof. They're leaving a wake of crumbled connector and all that gets in Linden's way.
I find all sorts of stuff.
He even found a hubcap once and smashed it.
What do you call that? The Tanya Harding special?
Yeah. That's what you do when you're bored.
Linden gets bored a lot.
I found a pager this morning.
A pager?
And if it's yours, you'd better hurry up and claim it. Oop, too late.
Just don't get in your way, huh?
No, there ain't much that can stop me.
As he crushes the concrete, it's louder than heck.
I was gonna say, I can only hear about every fifth word that you say.
Of course, Linden doesn't say much at all. He just smashes it.
Boring job.
Boring job?
And I'd bet you this bottle of water you'd agree if Linden hadn't bet me first.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Now, John says it took several days and I imagine a few smashes to finish the job, but it did get done. Middleton's John Phillips has a need for speed and he's got one heck of a pickup truck. Add those two together, toss in John Miller, and you've got the makings of a record-breaking story.
At a glance, you'd think John Phillips' 1976 Dodge Club Cab Adventurer could break down at any moment. But the fact is, it's about to break a land speed record. If you ask him why
not? I've always been fascinated with land speed as a form of racing, and I'm not getting any younger. I thought I'd give it a try.
And without the luxury of a high-performance rocket car, John decided to soup up his old pickup.
So what's the current record?
There is no current record. Nobody's run that particular class yet.
Well, there you go, huh?
You see, no one's ever run a production class pickup across Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats, so if John can go down there and manage 1 mile an hour, he'll have the land speed record in a pickup truck.
How fast can it go?
We don't have any idea yet. There's no place around here to try it out.
Can't do it on a drag strip?
Drag strips are too short.
An airport runway?
They're too short.
Though John's positive he can do 125 miles per hour in first gear.
That's hauling the groceries.
And with 417 horses under that hood,
You can get home before the ice cream melts.
And naturally, your wife thinks you're crazy?
Absolutely.
Kids think you're crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Neighbors think you're crazy?
The neighbors don't know what to think.
There goes John in his 1976 Dodge Salt Flats record-holding thing.
Hopefully.
and hopefully, John says, the old Dodge will top 150, which we can only imagine will look something like this.
Keep your fingers crossed.
And we'll see you on down the road, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, we have an update. John put his truck to the test at Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats, and guess what? He has set several land speed records for that class of pickup. So far, the top speed is a hair over 134 miles an hour, but John is working on a new engine, and he hopes to eventually go over 200 miles an hour. Still to come, John shows us one home where the owner is guaranteed to keep the light on for you. And next, John shows us a popular new workout that's a real kick.
Yeah, I think it's a good way for, to release a little bit of tension, I guess.
The best of John Miller continues after this. Welcome back, everyone. Well, are you looking to get fit? Well, John is a bit punchy about a new class that is catching on in Boise.
It could be the only workout you begin by wrapping your hands.
I hold and you hook.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
While instructor Lee Rice hangs the bags.
And then just going through some basic technique, just basically starting with the kicks. Front, hands, and right, up.
Swinging into action and the sport of kickboxing.
Jab.
His shirt says, "Stop the violence," but I had a feeling the violence was about to begin. See, getting them to start is easy. Getting them to stop isn't.
Moving a bit closer. There, that's it. Okay, whoa, listen up.
It's kind of a fun thing to watch. I mean, you see some people getting some aggression out.
Yeah, I think it's a good way for, to release a little bit of tension, I guess.
Yeah.
Jab right, round kick. Don't punch so wildly. Take your time, okay?
Okay.
Work for technique. You're trying to, a lot of power there.
I want to knock it over.
I know, I can tell.
And in case you couldn't tell, Lee says it's a great cardiovascular and muscle building workout, not to mention a great escape.
5, more heel.
Just think about punching the bag.
Or your worst enemy.
Who are you thinking about while you were punching the bag? Can you tell me that?
Professors at BSU.
Just kick it.
Lee says Mel Gibson and Tina Turner got a kick out of the sport. You see, he's taught his share of actors.
How do Mel Gibson and Tina Turner stack up against this class?
Ow! That hurt my wrist.
Okay. This class, they were good. Better.
Yeah. Acting out their aggressions in a workout that really kicks.
Oh, you gotta have more heel. Yeah, all right.
Maybe there's a few Olympians there someday. Now, how do you know you have an Olympian in your family? What you're about to see just may be a sign. It happens almost every time Matt Lighton steps up to his treadmill. And of course, John tracked down the story.
Jensen Lighton is on a journey, chasing down an Olympic dream.
I think he's going to go all the way.
With baby steps. At 18 months old and with a passion for his pop's treadmill, Jensen has apparently begun training before he's begun training pants.
If there's ever been a true sign of a champion, I think that's it.
He's very determined.
Jensen's dad, Matt, thinks it all makes perfect sense.
I used to put him to bed like this. I'd just maybe walk at 2.5 or 3 miles an hour, give him his bottle.
Boom, out like a light, huh?
Oh, yeah, easy.
And now it's like father like son, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Can we consider him an Olympic hopeful?
I haven't given a lot of thought, but he just likes running.
Jensen's content to take it at his own speed, about 2 miles an hour, and getting faster every day.
How do you describe it? I mean, he's got all the emotion. I mean, he's into it. You can tell he's chirping and giggling and stuff.
Yeah, he loves it.
Begging the question, can 18-month-old Jensen Lighton pave the road to gold on a 2-mile-an-hour treadmill? Just maybe. Baby?
I think we got a winner here, Matt.
I think so.
Jensen's story is even more amazing considering he was born 2 months premature and barely survived. Now the Lightons think he may get his desire from his mother, who used to run 14 to 20 miles a day. Still ahead, see how some deer found a little bit of nature right in the middle of Boise.
See all sorts of things here, but not usually deer.
And next, it's any family's dream home. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a lighthouse. The best of John Miller continues after this. Welcome back, everyone. Well, it is a new trend in the Treasure Valley, and it's one that is lighting the way for many homeowners. Here's our John Miller with the explanation.
2 years ago, I stopped by Dean Vader's place to check out the lighthouse he was building.
So I guess the big question is, why?
2 years later, I guess the big question would still be, why?
Why not? That's
still the big answer, huh? And 2 years after he turned this into this and put on a lid, it's clear Boise's lighthouses are getting better and bigger.
This is Lakeland Village.
Lakeland Village?
Yes.
Another lighthouse?
Another lighthouse.
I mean, I didn't know we needed lighthouses in Boise.
But people are into lighthouses. You know,
Elizabeth Allen Hodge hopes this one guides buyers into this new subdivision.
You know, it is similar to that one in Nova Scotia. Of course, you don't quite have the ocean.
That's right, not quite. But we've got a big lake back here.
Okay.
Even seagulls.
But it is a genuine lighthouse.
It's a genuine lighthouse.
Made out of?
Metal.
Metal.
Steel.
Ow! It is real metal. And maybe soon people will come flocking this way.
Searching for the source of our newest signal beacon.
And then there's this one. It's the beacon light on beacon light. And we wanted to shed some light on the beacon light on beacon light, but the guy who built it isn't home. So we're in the dark.
Our only conclusion, for not having a whole lot of water around Boise, we sure do have a lot of lighthouses. People just feel comforted by lighthouses, you think, Dean, or something?
Yeah, it's kind of soothing to them.
Other people like the feeling of being on the coast.
Dean figures one more big quake.
California slides in the ocean.
And Boise will be on the coast.
Yeah, the next big quake will be it.
Could be. We're just planning ahead.
Uh-huh.
I like it. They look pretty cool. Now, Dean says his lighthouse took him 4 months to build, but as far as building more, he says he'll leave that up to other Boise lighthouse enthusiasts. Still ahead on the best of John Miller. Learn why this woman spends her days folding and fluffing and smoothing.
These need to be straightened.
And next, John shows us how some deer are looking for a quiet resting place. If you think we head to every story with a predetermined notion of how it's going to turn out, well, here's proof that we do not. When John goes looking for wildlife in not-so-wild places.
Funny how you always feel the need to whisper in a cemetery, especially now.
I see ducks.
When the cemetery has become
Bird.
a sanctuary.
Oh, there's a squirrel.
And another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Those squirrels weren't the reason we were tooling among the tombstones at 6 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
You see, like some people look for the Loch Ness Monster and others search for Sasquatch, we were staking out the elusive Jane Doe and her four-legged beau.
What are they eating?
The roses and the apples on the crabapple trees and the flowers from the graves.
Sheila Coleman's seen them.
So you've gotten some photos of these things.
Uh-huh. See all sorts of things here, but not usually deer.
Which we weren't seeing at all.
I'm gonna get shut out again. Spend all day driving around the cemetery.
And then they just been living in Q.
Living in Q?
In section Q, yeah.
Oh, right. Q is like the smorgasbord.
It's because there's more trees, more plants, more flowers than any other section.
And apparently more places to hide.
Naturally, you know why we're not finding them? Because we're looking for them.
Sheila says buck deer and Jane Doe are downright friendly. Of course, the only fawns we found were stamped on this stone. That's why we're taking her word and her pictures.
They're smart. They're out of the sun.
Because they're not television savvy?
Oh, they're shy. That's a good one. They're shy.
Now, cemetery employees have been told to leave the deer alone. Catching them, even if it's just to move them, would be considered poaching, so police and wildlife officials say it's just better to let the deer find their way home on their own. Mabel Burton is at the age where most people have their careers wrapped up.
I'm gonna fold this one over.
Coming up, John shows us why she spends her days folding instead of relaxing. Next time you're in JCPenney at the mall, be sure to say hey to Mabel Burton. The Boise senior is one of those who's making her own little corner of the world a little brighter, one fold at a time. She even taught John Miller a lesson.
I'm gonna take these out of here.
Mabel Burton just can't stand them.
It bugs me,
Lumpy towels.
and it's my fault.
One false fold.
And then they look lumpy. See, whoever folded them was not doing a good job.
Just look at it.
It's lumpy.
You just see that?
Yeah.
And all heck breaks loose, doesn't it?
Yes,
I didn't know towels was such a huge job.
it is.
Let's go look at these blue ones over here. You think the management, when it gets a little disheveled, goes, phew, Mabel's in today. All's gonna be well in towels now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mabel, it should be noted, is 81 and still works pretty much full time. She has to, mainly because...
There's a lot to learn in towel department.
And Mabel is the teacher of the terry cloth.
How about the beauty of bath mat?
That too. These need to be straightened.
This actually happened. I was working in a hotel once back in high school, and the people needed fresh towels, so I brought them a whole stack of bath mats. Rookie mistake, huh?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
They're not as soft as a towel, but they're very absorbent.
Yeah, well, I got fired. So.
Well, that's too bad. Your intentions were good, John.
Do people ever tell you that your personality is as colorful as your display?
No. No.
That's because it sounds kind of dorky, I guess, doesn't it?
I'm very independent. I take care of myself.
Right.
I like movement. I'm not a TV watcher. TV bores me to
thanks
death.
a lot. Wait, now hold on.
Oh, no. Let me finish. Okay, excluding news.
The fact is, Mabel doesn't have much time for TV. She says at 81, life's still too full of opportunities and...
I'm going to fold this one over.
Too full of towels.
I'm not happy with it.
Now, the manager of JCPenney says Mabel still works there at the store about 20 hours a week, and she even left us this towel tip. Don't use any kind of fabric softener the first few times you wash your towels. That will make them more absorbent, according to Mabel. Thanks. Ever dream of flying in space? Well, your chance may be right around the corner. About half a dozen Seattle companies are working on the technology to send tourists to the stars. But as John explains, recreational space travel will have its ups and one huge down.
If you told somebody 100 years ago this would be the future of transportation, they probably wouldn't have thought it any stranger than this. Of course, nowadays, no one thinks skycaps are weirdos, but stand around with a sign like this.
You guys just think I'm one of these airport freaks, don't you?
What is it?
Companies in Seattle are like coming up with ways to send people into space for 60-mile suborbital flight. Of course, it costs a little bit more than your average plane ride.
Well, the cost is $98,000.
Still, spokespeople for the Seattle-based companies trying to launch the idea of private spaceflight say it's already taken off.
So far, we've been taking reservations and deposits. People have been putting money down on the program. We're up to over 30 reservations so far.
Some of the designs that could send you to the stars would float back down like a helicopter, and some companies are shooting for a launch date in late 2001. And while a 60-mile blast into space may seem a little far-fetched for you, consider this.
I got some teenagers, I might say.
I got your teenagers, you might say, huh? So would you be interested in putting a down payment on a space flight right now?
Well, I'll wait till 2001.
Wait till the price goes down a little bit, huh?
Wow, and I thought Space Mountain at Disneyland was cool. Wow, that sounds pretty fun. 2001 came and went, and so far several private citizens have paid to fly to the International Space Station. Now, one company called Space Adventures says the FDA just approved testing for 2 suborbital vehicles. Sounds pretty cool. A spokesman for the company says they have 200 people on a waiting list, so the dream is alive and well, and it soon could become reality by taking flight to the stars, so make sure to book your reservation. Maybe never too soon for that. Sounds like a really cool thing of the future. Well, that'll do it for this edition of The Best of John Miller. It's been fun. We'll see you again next time as we continue to look at the best of John Miller. See you then. Goodbye, everybody.
Cue up the banjo music. How's it going?
She is cheating.
Oh, man.
Revenge is sweet.
I'd say the odds of that happening with me are pretty much 0. Okay, 1% chance.
Oh, jeez. You gotta be a little